Good morning, and welcome to the Social Media in Your Election webinar. My name is Kyle Brandt, and I'm the Marketing Coordinator at SaBy&x, and I will serve as the moderator for today's event. Today we will be covering how your organization can utilize social media to promote your election process. We'll also take a look at how to create a strong social media policy, tips for how to utilize each social media platform, and event promotion strategies. To do that, I have with me today Survey and Ballot Systems Account Manager Pete Westerhouse and SPS Marketing Assistant Sean Donahue. Pete and Sean, thank you for being here today.
Thanks for having us, Kyle.
My pleasure, Kyle.
A few quick notes. We will be recording this presentation, so we will make that available to you after the event. And then lastly, we will be holding a Q&A session for all attendees at the end of today's presentation. To ask a question, just go ahead and type that into the chat or question box within GoToWebinar at any point during this webinar, and we'll get to as many of those as we can at the end.
Thanks for the introduction, Kyle. So there's no denying how popular and important social media has become in our everyday lives. What began as a way for teens and young adults to interact has really evolved into a necessary platform of communication for people of all ages. There are all sorts of reasons people use social media today, from staying in touch with friends to sharing news and photos. However, social media platforms are constantly evolving with new additions to the way users are communicating every single day. So over the last 10 years, social media usage has really grown. In 2010, only 47% of US adults used at least one social media platform. We saw that number rise to a whopping 72% in 2019. Now, right off the bat, some of you may be thinking that social media isn't a great fit for your company because you provide a specialty service and not many of your members may be active online. Well, think again. These platforms have a very diverse user base. For example, if you look at the entire US population, you'll see that 72% of US adults use social media. 40% of people over the age of 65 use at least one platform, and 66% of rural residents use at least one social media site. These are just a few stats, but this means that there's a really good chance you can connect with your members despite whatever demographic they belong to. But before you rush blindly into the world of social media, you'll first need to define a strategy and create a good plan, or else you'll kind of find yourself running around in circles. That all starts with involving your team. Your employees of your organization will be affected by this, so they should definitely have a hand in creating it. No matter the size of your organization, you should form a social media team or a committee. Just be sure to include several employees or volunteers who will have a hand in creating the entire strategy. Next, you'll want to establish your goals and really determine who's going to be involved with that. If you don't have documented goals for your organization's social media, now is really the time to create them. These could include improving member satisfaction or increasing voter turnout for elections. Just make sure your social media team and committee is on the same page regarding these goals. Educating and training is also vital to the success of your social media policy. Once your policy is in place, educate all employees, members, volunteers on the policy and provide training on the appropriate use of social media. Finally, don't forget to review and update your policy on a regular basis. This will keep your organization at the forefront of these ever-changing platforms. So now that we've covered how to create a social media policy, I'm going to pass the mic over to Pete Westerhouse, who's going to talk about how your election comes into play with all of this.
Thanks a lot, Sean. So really the million-dollar question here is, why promote your election on social media? So as we all know, the diversity of your members is a huge asset. Your members come from different backgrounds and viewpoints, and they add value to your organization in many different ways. However, you must make an effort to ensure all voices are heard equally and fairly. So, if you're lacking a full representative view of what your members want, then it's difficult to show you are running the organization fairly. There could be segments of your membership that aren't having their voices heard, which is concerning and discouraging for anyone that may consider casting a ballot. The best way to get these members involved is to make voting as easy as possible. Having a variety of voting methods is helpful, and so is actively promoting the voting event. This includes posting election reminders on social media. It's a perfect way to increase response rates and engage members in your election, not to mention it can be done at low or no cost. You know, as Sean mentioned the statistics at the beginning, it's no secret that social media platforms have seen exceptional growth, and really they're here to stay. So leverage these powerful platforms to engage your members. Now, before we cover each platform and how to use the powerful tools to promote your election, there are 3 general aspects on social media that you should always keep top of mind. First is to use social media to create a community. Regardless of your industry, your organization and your members form a community. Extend the feeling of that community into social media by making connections, sharing resources, and answering questions. Remember, social media is a conversation, not just one person shouting over everyone else. You'll also want to create compelling content. So some examples of this are photos of your staff volunteering in the community. Maybe you could create an infographic documenting the promising research statistics of your scientific association, or share some tips from your electric cooperative about how members can conserve energy. Finally, choose carefully. You don't need to be on all social platforms, because I'll tell you what, your members probably aren't either. However, find out where your members are and concentrate on those social spaces. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and LinkedIn have the highest social media audience numbers, so it's a good idea to start with one of those. So let's recap. I like to think of these as the 3 C's when you're thinking about promoting your election on social media. And those 3 C's are community, content, and concentrate. You want to build a community, create compelling content, and choose a platform carefully. Now, let's dive into different platforms and see how you can use these powerful tools to promote your election. First, we're going to start with Facebook. So Facebook continues to be really the reigning champ of social media sites. It's more than just a meeting place for friends. Facebook has really grown into a venue for businesses where they can promote themselves and interact with customers. So it's absolutely mind-blowing. But as of 2019, 69% of US adults use Facebook. This is incredible. And really, this usage is not just casual. If you really look into the statistics, 74% of these participants use the platform daily. So Facebook has a lot to offer member organizations when it comes to promoting your annual meetings or your elections. Hosting a Facebook event can be a great asset for your organization to engage and grow your community. With the ability to create, share, and advertise your event through this platform, promoting your election with Facebook creates endless outreach opportunities. So let's talk about Facebook events. Really, there are 3 key sections to Facebook events: the event name, images, and details. The event name and image are the first thing people see when it appears on their timeline. So be sure to use strong and relevant words that are informative and enticing to your members. You want to catch their attention. As for the image, it's best to keep it simple and relevant to your event. For the event details section, try to provide a much clearer and accurate information as possible to get more people to participate in your event. Your members will need information about the location, time, how to get there, and what to expect when they arrive. If your election is a hybrid or online election, provide the link to the login page or your members-only portal for easy access. You can also use the Facebook events URL hyperlink in your reminder emails so members can have easy access to the event pages. We encourage you to regularly post event updates on your organization's main social media page, as well as the event page. These will notify people listed as attending or interested, which helps keep them in the loop about any changes or developments that may come up.
So, Pete, it sounds like Facebook events are a great way for organizations to provide their members with all the information needed to participate in something like an annual meeting or an election process. Are there any other additional ways to promote things like this on Facebook?
Great question, Kyle. So another phenomenal way to get the word out about your upcoming election or your annual meeting is through advertising on Facebook. Now, Facebook they have an ever-changing algorithm that really it's above my pay grade to totally understand, but and because it can really make it challenging then to connect organically with your fans. However, micro-targeting features allow you to reach your exact target audience, meaning Facebook ads can get your message in front of your members and followers. When it actually comes to setting up your ads, the first step is to choose the right marketing objective. For elections and voting, we would recommend sticking with an engagement objective over other goals like brand awareness or increasing traffic. Next, you'll want to make sure that you're targeting the ads to the right people. So I would ask yourself 3 questions before you set up your audience. The first being, where are your members located? Second question, are you targeting a specific age range? And then the third question is, do your members share any specific interest? You can also target ads specifically towards your Facebook followers. Let's just say that you already have a large member following on your Facebook page. Targeting ads directly to these followers really might be your best solution there. Now, when it comes to setting an advertising budget, you can start as low as $1 a day. As you increase the budget, your ads will appear more frequently to those that you've segmented. Finally, make sure to choose the right creative. We suggest that you choose the single image option and use the same image that you've already associated with the event. However, I have to say, depending on your needs, there are several other options to choose from as well. So now that we've really discussed Facebook and what Facebook has to offer for your member organization, I'm going to pass the mic back to Sean so he can chirp a little bit about the little birdie known as Twitter.
Thanks, Pete. With over 330 million active monthly users, Twitter is the most popular social media platform among young adults. You know, Twitter has grown substantially since 2012. Only at 14% of US adults are using the platform, and today we are seeing about 22% of them. And of those 22%, 42% use it daily. That's awesome to see a platform that has such great engagement and usage from young adults and members. So when it comes to Twitter, hashtags are really key. Some people don't realize that hashtags, when they're effectively used, can help increase awareness, especially for events like elections, bylaw votes, and even annual meetings. But how do you know what a great hashtag looks like? Well, first things first, make sure it hasn't been used before. You do not want any tweets that distract people from your intended message. Make it short and simple while also including the name of your event. The goal is for someone to quickly look at your hashtag and know exactly what your event is about. Another useful tactic to try on Twitter is creating a dedicated account for your event. This one will be separate from your actual corporate account though. This is especially beneficial if you're hoping to draw a large crowd or plan on hosting a recurring event similar to your annual meetings. Because Twitter can easily get lost in all the noise of social media, promoting events with multiple accounts can help increase and create more attention. While promoting your election to encourage member participation should really be your focus, don't forget to tweet after an event or an election has really taken place. Try posting photos, videos, and really anything that showcases your organization. Ultimately, you want to share key moments with those who decide to participate, while making those who didn't, ultimately wish that they had been more involved. Speaking of being involved, Pete, why don't you take the lead on talking about the creative platform that people around the world have been most involved and active with?
Absolutely, Sean. So I'm sure many of you know about the creative platform Instagram, or what my fellow millennials call Insta. But really, since its launch back in 2010, Instagram has absolutely taken the world by storm. So it seems like everyone and their dog is on the platform. You know, similar to the other platforms we've talked about, Instagram really has some mind-blowing statistics behind it. So grapple with this for 1 second. That 80 million photos are shared on the platform every single day. 80 million. That is just mind-blowing. And naturally, promoting on Instagram can be difficult because feeds are always changing. With all that content continuously being posted, it can be difficult for your account to get noticed. Again, that's where hashtags come in handy. Similar to what Sean talked about with Twitter, hashtags play a vital role in the success of promoting your election and annual meeting on Instagram. Instagram makes it simple and easy for users to find tag content. When you search a word or phrase, you'll end up seeing 4 types of results pop up. The first is top posts. This displays the top Instagram accounts, hashtags, and locations. Accounts is next, and this shows you the top Instagram accounts associated with your keyword. Then it's tags, which suggest popular hashtags that may be similar to your keyword. And finally, you'll have places, which display nearby locations that include your keyword. Just like we suggested on Twitter, creating your own hashtags can be helpful when promoting your election and annual meeting, just to make sure yours isn't being used for another purpose. I do have to say it's quite fun coming up with a hashtag for your event, and really I have to encourage you to get creative and think outside the box. Another unique aspect of this platform are Instagram stories. These allow users to post at a higher frequency without overposting and clogging up your main feed. Stories are all about authenticity. Use the feature to give a behind-the-scenes look at your annual meeting, or showcase your election candidates with a quick, candid video. Now that we've covered the 3 core platforms that people are most active on, I'm going to pass the mic back to Sean one last time here, as he'll cover our final platform of the day. Take her away, Sean.
Thanks, Pete. The final platform we'll talk about is one that some marketers tend to stay away from due to the fact that it's not really a casually social platform like Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. I think you all know what platform I'm talking about here, and that's LinkedIn. Comprised of over 100 million active monthly users, LinkedIn is filled with people who are often looking for content related to their careers and the workplace. For member organizations, most of the people who follow your page on LinkedIn will be your professional members that are looking for any sort of networking opportunities. So when it actually comes down to what you should be posting on LinkedIn, especially for your election or annual meetings, we've kind of narrowed it down to 4 core topics. Promoting networking opportunities, communicating open board positions and committee volunteer opportunities, promoting guest speakers, partners, and other sponsors for your event, and then discussing the election process and why voting is so important for your organization. You can get the word out about these topics in really one of 2 ways. The first way is through status updates. These are brief messages that will appear on your company branded page, and even your personal page if you choose to do so. And they're a great way to reach people who follow you directly. The second way are through published posts, and these are very similar to how blogs work on your company page, whereas they're longer written articles that you can often include pictures and links to event and detail information. So there's also a few additional ways that you can increase awareness on LinkedIn in a more general sense, and that's to ask employees to share the posts, sharing events in relevant groups that you're a part of, direct messaging to people who represent your member demographic, whatever that may be, as well as paid advertising.
All right. Thank you, Sean and Pete, for all your insight. Really appreciate your participation and the information about social media and how organizations can utilize that to promote their elections and engage their members. To anyone attending, if you have further questions on today's presentation or want any more information on how SaBy&x can help with your election efforts, Our contact information is on the screen. And make sure to check out our website at www.surveyandballotsystems.com. With that, I'm going to open the question and answer portion of the presentation. All right, so we'll give a little bit of time here for people to fill out questions. We did have one come in during the course of our presentation, and that is, can survey and ballot systems write or create the social posts for our election?
Yeah, I can talk about that for a quick second. So we actually do that through a service called Election Marketing Services, and you can definitely talk to your account manager that you've been working with or contact one of us on the webinar who we can provide greater information about that. But we will write all the get out the vote messaging, whether it's for your social media or you intend to use it in reminder emails. I'll just give you a fair warning that we do stay away from writing anything for specific candidates, as we don't want to seem biased in your organization's election.
Awesome. Thank you, Sean. The next question is, what social media platform do you recommend to promote the election?
Great question, and I'll answer this one. So if you're keeping your messaging to just one platform, I would suggest that you choose the platform where you have the most followers or the highest level of engagement. Now, that said, no matter where you post, make sure to encourage your members to like and share the message, and really to help spread the word. If you are on multiple platforms and you want to post information on those multiple platforms, I would recommend that you use a consistent message really across those platforms, and keep in mind those 3 C's that we talked about before, which were community, content, and concentrate.
All right, our next question is, for online voting, you mentioned including a link on the Facebook event, but I thought online voting links were personalized by member for tracking purposes. How would that work? I think I can take this for the most part, and if you guys want to chime in with anything, go ahead. For everyone's clarity, the personalized links that's being referenced here is something that comes in our email credentials that will go out to voters. That obviously you can't have a personalized link in a Facebook event post, but I believe Pete kind of mentioned this a little bit, that you can link either to the login page where the voters would be able to provide their login credentials to get into the meeting, or to your members only portal if you do have any sort of single sign-on with that election. Our next question is, we have not used SBS yet. How can we share SBS as a trusted partner?
Great question here. And really, I'm an account manager here with SBS. Would be happy to talk with you offline here. Really, Survey and Ballot Systems, we have been leaders in the election services space for 30 years. We continue to innovate, run secure elections year in, year out, and partner with our clients to make sure that your election runs smoothly. So I will be in touch with you in the future, but thank you for that fantastic question.
Thank you, Pete. One more question that we have here is, are videos or images more effective on social media?
Yeah, I can definitely talk about that one real quick. So a lot of it comes down to personal preference. For me, I definitely steer more towards the image rather than the video, but I've also seen that, video helps a lot as well. 60% of marketers say that video drives more clicks, and it really depends on how well you set up your audience targeting and your ad budget. So, try some things out for yourself, see if you like what results you get for the single image or a carousel image for that fact versus video, because you will see different results, some of which may better fit your goals that you're trying to achieve.
Okay, and then we had one more question come in. I think we'll have time for that, and then just out of respect for everyone's time, we'll probably cut it off after that, unless any short ones come in, but to any questions that come in, or if you have anything after this, feel free to reach out to us and we can answer those individually as well. This question is, does SBS offer any promotional videos of the process of counting ballots?
In the sense of promotional videos of us counting ballots, we don't have any created, but we have had clients set up live streams of the ballots being tallied that they can view in real time, so that we ensure our process is being met with transparency and security. So if that's what you're referencing, then yes, we can do that.
Yeah, just to piggyback off of that, Sean, obviously in this virtual climate, a lot of these typical on-site elections are being moved virtually. We can absolutely run those, stream those virtually. In terms of a promotional video, it's not necessarily a highlight reel or anything of that nature. But again, our marketing services does a great job putting together content that could help, in marketing your election.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. So that looks like all the questions that we'll have time for today. For anyone that we weren't able to get to, we'll make sure to reach out individually to make sure everyone's questions are answered. And again, if you have any questions after the fact, please let us know. We'd love to speak with you about those. We really do appreciate the interest from everyone who did submit questions. And again, don't hesitate to reach out if you'd like any more information about your election from us. With that, thank you everyone for attending.